Hi, everybody. So today's advisory is going to focus on healthy habits. And we're doing this because a lot of the times we ask for feedback from recent graduates, and they say they wish they had learned certain things that have nothing to do with math or social studies or whatever, the core subjects. They wanted to learn more things like, what can I do to handle my stress? How can I be more organized? How can I just be and live a happier life? So, we want to focus on some healthy habits today in hopes that you'll take these habits and run with them for the next couple of years in high school. And not only that, but you'll be more prepared for life after high school to just live a healthier and happier life. So we're going to start with a short video here that talks about things you can do to be happier. And then we're going to go into a little bit more detail once we're done.
Biases is to behave differently. There's a whole set of practices I like to call rewirements. All of us can engage with rewiring our own habits in order to change our behaviors and feel better. When we think about the behaviors that we need to change as part of our rewirements, there's one big one that comes up initially: social connection. Every available study of happy people suggests that happy people are more social. They physically spend time around other people, and they tend to really prioritize time with their friends and family members. Our lack of social connection really comes from the fact that we have this strong intuition that it kind of doesn't matter. There's lots of work by Nick Epley for a bias that's known as undersociality. We just systematically misestimate how good social connection will feel. Instead of scrolling through social media, use your phone to actually be a phone and call someone that you care about. These simple acts of connecting in real life, ideally, but especially in real time, can significantly improve well-being. Another behavior that we know really affects our happiness is doing nice things for other people, trying to become a little bit more other-oriented. This is a spot where we have seriously incorrect intuitions. We often think that self-care is the path to happiness, but the evidence really suggests that happy people are much more other-oriented. They're donating more money to charity. They're spending their time volunteering for others. They give more compliments. Another way that we can rewire our happiness is to change our thought patterns. Do we have a mindset of paying attention to all the negative things, all the hassles in life, or do we have a mindset that focuses more on the blessings? Lots of evidence suggests that happy people focus on the blessings. If you tend not to do that naturally, you can change that thought pattern. One fantastic way to do this is simply to just write down 3 to 5 things you're grateful for every night. And this practice can improve your well-being in as little as 2 weeks. Another thought pattern that we can engage to feel happier is paying attention to the good stuff in life. One of the reasons our good circumstances don't necessarily lead to happiness is we tend not to notice them. We'll buy a delicious latte that we should be paying attention to and savoring and really enjoying, but we just kind of chug it while we're checking our email. The act of savoring is moving towards paying attention to the good things in life a little bit more. A final way we can rewire our behavior is to make changes in our body. We often forget that bodies are connected to minds, but they really are. And that means that a really quick way to change how we're feeling emotionally is simply moving our body a little bit more. Exercise is intricately connected to our mental health. And it's important to note that this isn't like running a marathon. This is simply just getting your body to move around a little bit more. Even as much as like 20 minutes a day can really improve your well-being. These so-called rewirements, they're really useful for moving from not feeling so good at the time to flourishing a little bit more. This is not necessarily the tools that you might use if you're facing a really serious mental disorder. Sometimes people think like, oh, I'm suicidally ideating, I should do a gratitude list or so. It's like, no. That's an acute emergency, and you should really get a special, more acute kind of care. You should see a psychotherapist. Rewirements are just yet another tool in the toolkit that we can all use to be improving our own well-being. We're going to have moments of anger. We're going to have moments of sadness. We're going to have moments of fear or frustration or overwhelm. That's part of being human. Our negative emotions are signals that are telling us something really important. Our sadness is there to tell us, hey, you're missing something in life. You might need to make changes. You might need to reach out to a friend. Negative emotions are normative in certain circumstances, so we shouldn't try to wish them away. We just need to be able to regulate them in positive ways. The key, though, is that you have to put these strategies into practice. You can't just learn about them. It turns out that knowing from a cognitive science perspective, it's not half the battle. The real work is putting the things you learn into practice. When we understand the right things to do and put those things into practice, we really can significantly change our levels of happiness.
Okay, so from that video, it talks about some things you can do to improve your life. And on this screen, we gave a couple of examples of other things you can do to make yourself happier. So there are a few things that we hope you might be willing to try, like doing acts of kindness. They talked about that in the video, like volunteering. Even though it seems like that may be helping someone else, it really can improve your happiness because you can see what you are able to do to improve somebody else's day. Another thing I like here is reflecting on 3 good things, or even just one good thing that went well in your day. A lot of the time, students will come down to the counseling office and we'll talk to them and they'll say, nothing good happened today. There's nothing positive going on in my life. But really, the smallest things can be good. Even if you are a person that it really takes everything you can to get out of bed and to come to school. That is a good thing. Those days that you get out of bed and you make the effort to come to school, that is a good thing, and that is what you can focus on. Or even if you're a student that may not do your homework very often, but you did your homework today, that's another good thing that you can focus on. The smallest things can still be good. Other things here are exercising. I know the video said to do 20 minutes a day, but 30 minutes a day is on here. Anytime that you exercise, it's a good thing. That gets your body moving, it gets you feeling better, and it really will make a big change, even if you think it won't. Another one I want to focus on here is setting goals. What we see is students that have goals or just have some sort of idea of what they want to do, even like in the next year or in the rest of their life even, they are more successful than students that are going about the day not really knowing what they want to do. So setting small goals just for maybe this school year and long-term goals can really help you get into a more positive mindset and just be overall more successful. Here are a few resources that you can try on your own that we hope you do. And we're going to post this on Schoology too, so you can come back and reference this anytime. So what I'd like you to do right now is to get with 1 or 2 peers and talk about the coping strategies you use when you're faced with a problem or just when you're really stressed. Talk to them about what you do, and hopefully you will find some strategies that they use that you may want to use, or you may help someone by giving them a really good strategy. So pause the video here for maybe 4 or 5 minutes and talk to your peers about this. Okay. Now that you've had this conversation, I want to, as a group, come back together and talk about what works for you. So share out with your advisory class what you learned from your peers in your small group discussions and some overall strategies that you feel like really could work for most people, or just if you learned anything new that maybe you just didn't know before. A few people I want to highlight here are some resources that you can use while you're in school. So while you're here, we want you to know that everybody is here to make sure that you are successful, and we want you to be happy. So of course you have your staff that are, the teachers that you can go to, but also administration is there when you want their resources too, that can make sure that you are getting what you need. The nurse's office is also there if you need anything about your day that may be health related, or even if you're having just really negative thoughts or something like that. They're a really good resource to go to just if you're having an overwhelming day, to take a break. And what the nurses will do is they will normally connect you in situations where maybe you're having an anxiety attack or you're just not feeling well. They will connect you to the school counseling office, and then we will check in with you. So the school counselors are here for anything that you might need. We want to make sure that you're successful. We want to make sure you're happy. And we also have 2 school psychologists in the school as well. So if the school counselors are not available, or you're just not maybe comfortable going to the counselor at the time, you can go see your school psychologist. We also have a newly designed calming room in the counseling office. So this is for students that might just need a couple minutes to be by themselves. They don't need to check in with a counselor or a psychologist or a nurse or anyone. You just want a few minutes by yourself. The counseling office is always open for you to come in, and you can sign into the calming room. You can be in there for a few minutes. The only rule we have is you can't take any friends in with you. This is a space for just a person to go in and be by themselves for a few minutes. You'll see here some of our student services staff. We just wanted to show you the difference and the availability of what we do have here at school. So as far as people who are trained in counseling, we have our school counselors, our school psychologist, and we also have a homeschool visitor. So on the screen, you'll see here the difference between us, but overall, we are all here to help you and to make sure you are getting what you need. On this page here, this is a really good page to take a picture of, because there are all the resources that we can give you for if you are not in school. This is the perfect page of resources for you to use. So we have the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, Safe to Say. There's also the Lancaster County Crisis Line, and anything that you might need on this page for if you are at home and you're not able to come down to the counseling office or see anybody right away. These are the resources you should be using. At this time, what we would need you to do is go into your Schoology and complete a reflection on what you learned and what you talked about with your classmates today. So you will submit this under 13.3, and this is a requirement for your career readiness portfolio. So please remember that this is your graduation project, and there are certain things that need to be done each year. So please make sure you do this right now. And you should probably pause this screen and keep this up on the screen until you are done. For now, that is all from the counseling office for today. Thank you so much for following along, and we'll see you next advisory.